What is going on, guys? Jack here, and welcome back to episode 3 of our Bayer Leverkusen Let's Play here in Football Manager 2019. And today, it's another massive game for us. We played Bayern last episode, which if you missed, obviously go check it out. Today, we're going to be kicking things off against Borussia Dortmund. So, it doesn't really get any easier. Just the one game today. Since you were last here, we have played 2 matches. As you can see, with a game in hand, we do sit pretty on our own at the top of the table. In terms of the 2 games, you can see them here. The first game we had was against Mainz. In the end, we won this game 3-0. A good little performance. Miguel Almiron with the first goal from the penalty spot. And then a quick double for Kevin Volland. 2 absolutely calamitous mistakes gifted us the win. The first, a questionable back pass, which Volland latched onto. And, well, the next one, Bellarabi out on the left-hand side on his weaker foot, putting an absolutely abysmal cross. It almost crossed the line. The keeper scooped it away. Maybe should have dealt with it a little bit better, Muller, but nevertheless, Kevin Volland there for the rebound. And yeah, that was a good little goal for him. The big kind of takeaway from this game was actually the fact that Mitchell Weiser got injured. You can see here in the 83rd minute, the right-back got injured. He has broken his lower leg. So that is a pretty bad injury as far as things go. Out for 3 to 5 months. In terms of what plan B is at right back, we have a few options, which is kind of the good news, I guess. Looking at it here, you can see behind Weiser, we of course have Lucas Romero, who we signed. He can play right back, so he's a pretty solid option in that regard. Perhaps a little bit of a relief that we did sign such a good backup right back who could also play defensive midfielder. The other option we have at right back is Jedvaj, who is very capable of playing there as well. Neither player perhaps quite as good as Weiser going forward, but of all the positions that we could get an injury as serious as this in the right back area is one of the ones that we have the best coverage in. So we will have to try and do our best with that. That is going to be Weiss's season pretty much over, at least until kind of February, March time, so certainly not ideal. The other game that you can see here that we had against Fortuna Dusseldorf. This a real ding-dong affair, a game that should have been more comfortable than perhaps it was. They scored both of the shots on target they had in this game. We completely rotated the side. Besides Throdecki, it was a completely rotated team. This was another game in the same week as the previous game, and the game that we have today against Dortmund is only 3 days after this. So rotation really, really important in this one. And, well, we made some subs. We brought on Volland, we brought on Brandt, we brought on Leon Bailey. None of them really had an impact. The man of the moment this game was Ilario, getting onto a number of crosses, also scored a penalty for us. And despite Dusseldorf pegging us back on 2 occasions in the 78th minute, a low cross from Leon Bailey found its way to Ilario, tucked it away home. And, well, good to see our second choice striker getting goals like this. Of course, Volland with a quick double last game. Ilario's chances in this game a little more tricky, but kind of showed us what he's all about. He's very good in the air. He's very good, with the ball at his feet. And some really nice finishes to ultimately secure us what could be a very, very crucial 3 points. So anyway, besides that, not a whole lot has happened. Obviously, it's not been that long. You can see here, it's only been 9 days between these fixtures. The games have just been coming thick and fast. In terms of how our squad is looking, things are actually okay. You can see here, fitness is pretty decent. Of course, the rotation has been good in that regard. In terms of the big performers, Ilario has been the standout player so far. 5 goals for him, an 8.1 average rating for the Argentine forward. He has looked very, very impressive for us. A player who I still only really see as a backup to Volland, but if you can come on off the bench and get goals like he has done when we've given him starts, he's going to be a very, very good plan B. I feel like it's always important that you have a goal scorer on the bench, and he might be that man for us. In terms of other players, Rasmus Falk has been getting involved. You can see he has twisted his knee, so a little bit of a fitness concern for today's game against Dortmund. But yeah, he has done equally as well. 2 goals in Europe, 2 in the German Cup. 2 goals in the league, 2 goals in the German Cup. He, of course, has played in the Europa League, but as you can see here, he's not actually made a contribution in that just yet. In terms of the team as a whole, though, pretty happy with how things are playing out. Besides the injury to Weiser, we have kind of dodged major injuries so far. I know that is a kind of thing that lots of people have raised in the FM kind of beta, is injuries are a little on the high side, so I am a little mindful of that. But yeah, generally speaking, the team is looking pretty solid. In terms of the players setting up goals, you can see here, Kevin Volland has got 3 assists to his name, so it's not just a goal scorer really for us. Leon Bailey as well, 3 assists for him. The Jamaican international, a very, very talented player in Football Manager this year. He has started the season pretty well, of course, got that crucial goal against Bayern Munich last episode to get us the win there. And also Lucas Romero, despite his sending off against Malmo, I think this guy is going to deserve more chances in the team. You can see a 7.41 average rating in the Bundesliga. Of course, that doesn't account for the Europa League, where he did get sent off in the first half against Malmo. But besides that, he's been pretty flawless. In terms of players with kind of causes for concern, perhaps, I feel like the big one is probably Julian Brandt. I was hoping that this guy was really going to put in some crazy performances like Leon Bailey has, but he hasn't quite lived up to that billing yet. Of course, we have got options in the wide areas. You know, Paulino can come in, Falk can also play on that left-hand side. So it's not a massive concern because we have got strength and depth there, but ultimately he is one of our key players. He is a player who I expect to see more from, and maybe he can give us more of that today going into this game against Dortmund. Anyway, in terms of the team news and kind of going into this game tactically, I need to work out how we want to play. You can see last game we played the tiki-taka style against Dusseldorf. Today, I've kind of got a dilemma. Do I want to play the Gegenpress with the defensive midfielder, or do I want to play more attacking? And I think the answer is I want to play more attacking. Havertz has not had the greatest start to the season. Almiron's been pretty impressive when we've played him, so I'm going to bring him in. The two players kind of offer something a little bit different, I feel like. You can see here, Almiron just a little bit quicker, a little more physical, whereas perhaps Kai is just a little better going forward. Ultimately, there's not a lot between these guys, and with Almiron being signed, it was always my intention to rotate these guys fairly frequently. So this is the team that we are going to go with. It's going to be Hradecky in goal. The back four, Vendel at left back, kind of held down this position. Missed the last game, just rested him so that Trauco could get some game time. Of course, Trauco, the player who we signed at the start of the year for a minuscule fee. Sven Bender, apparently on a bit of a decline at 29 years old, one of the more experienced players in the team, but a player who we can definitely kind of make the most of. Of course, the professional personality helps a lot. And I'm not going to go into a load of detail with training today, but just so you can see, I have been trying to set up the mentoring and stuff. There is a load of new training, bits and bobs in FM for me still to get my heads around. One of the things I've been looking at is mentoring, and both Benders are pretty good kind of personality-wise with their professional personality. You can see here, I've got Tonali and Havertz being tutored or mentored by Lars Bender, who has significant influence on them. So I'm hoping some of that professionalism is going to rub off. You can see here, Tonali already gone to professional personality. That was not the case before. For those of you who don't know, professional personality, very, very important. You know, that can be really defining on a player. So hopefully that will help with Tonali's development. But yes, both Benders very important in that regard. Of course, his partner at the back is going to be Jonathan Tah. This guy, 7.05 rating in the league. An okay rating in the one game we had against Malmo. I want to see more from this guy. He's a good player, 22 years old, very, very physical, very good centre-back. I don't want to make it sound like he's not good, but it'd be nice to see him chip in with a goal or two, I guess. Anyway, in terms of the rest of the team, Jedvaj going to be playing right back for us today. Not a whole lot between him and Lucas Romero. With Weiser injured, I can see these two guys getting rotated fairly frequently. Jedvaj just a little bit better defensively, whereas perhaps Lucas Romero offers us a little more going forward. The centre mids, we're going to go with Arangis and Lars Bender. Out on the left, I'm going to keep faith in Julian Brandt, despite his kind of questionable performances to start the season. Almiron going to play behind Volland. Leon Bailey out on the right-hand side. And yeah, on the bench we've got options. You know, we've got Alario, who has been in fine goal scoring form. Kai Havertz can come on and make an impact. Bellarabi and Paulino in the wide areas. And generally speaking, things are looking good. One player I've not talked about, Retsos, a 20 years old Greek defender, very good defender to have. I don't really view him as a backup in the full-back areas, although he can play left and right back. I like my kind of defenders out wide to have a little bit going forward and backwards, and he doesn't have necessarily the natural talent and natural technical ability to play kind of slightly more, I guess, higher in the field, like a fullback needs to. As a result, I see him more as a centre-back. We've not really talked about him, but he's a good player with some significant potential. Missed the start of the season due to a torn thigh muscle, which he starts the game with. But he is slowly coming back to fitness, and he's definitely a player who we may call upon, you know, as the season goes on and we need to start rotating players. Anyway, let's get into today's game. You can see some other fixtures played. Bayern won 2-0. Leipzig lost, so that's kind of a good result for us there, because Leipzig probably one of the teams you'd expect to be a big rival for us. You can see Hoffenheim and Werder Bremen have also started the season well, and Borussia Mönchengladbach, who we did beat on the opening day of the season, up in 7th. So we've had a really tricky start to the season when it comes to games. And we've kind of come through it so far. Hopefully we can keep that kind of theme going today. In terms of the Dortmund side, they've got Alcacer up front, of course, a very, very kind of talented striker who looks likely to move to them permanently in real life. Pulisic, another player we do need to be aware of. He has been a big standout player for them this year in real life. The rest of their team, Witsel playing as captain, Mario Götze, the centre midfield, Toprak. They've got some good players here, Dortmund. It's not going to be an easy game, but you can see here we've ditched the defensive midfielder. I wasn't really anticipating them to play with a centre attacking mid, and they haven't. So that looks like a good decision, maybe to play with Almiron as a centre attacking mid. I kind of find it often unnecessary to need that defensive midfielder kind of sat behind the two in midfield if they're going to play without an attacking midfielder. Anyway, I'm going to tell the players I expect them to keep the performance going, but I want to try and motivate them here. You know, confidence is high, yet to lose in the league, and I want to try and keep that going. This is going to be a tricky game. I talked previously when we went into the game against Bayern about the fact I didn't think it was a game that was going to define our season. Given the fact that we started the season so well, it now kind of looks like it might define our season. We really want to be focusing on the title. But this is a game that will define our season against Dortmund. You know, Dortmund, a team who we are going to be fighting with at the top. I don't want to say it too soon, but at this point, given the fact we have beaten Bayern away from home, I have to say I am going to try and win the league this year now. Of course, I'm always trying to win the league, but I don't know. I feel like you can get carried away too soon. Whereas if we do want to do that, and I feel like at this point we have to say, yes, the league title is something we want to strive towards. We need to win this game at home against Dortmund. We need to turn our home form kind of into one of our big strengths. And well, let's see what we can do. Volland with a half-decent chance to start the game within the first 5 minutes. Always a promising sign. It'll be interesting to see how our style of play gets on here against Dortmund. Of course, we're playing that 4-2-3-1, kind of pressing high up the pitch, trying to maybe limit their possession. And when they do have possession, make sure they have it deep and in panicked areas. Either way, they're knocking the ball round at the back here. Götze, big ball over the top. Vendel, nice little win, but only as far as Alcacer. You can see without that centre attacking mid, they're going to be relying on Delaney and Götze to move forward. And, well, both were fairly static there, giving us a way to win the ball back relatively easily. Now can we make something happen? Vendel, Julian Brandt, Fred through Volland. Finish that! Nice save by their keeper. A good opportunity. A chance that falls Volland's way. And, oh my gosh, what has just happened? I mean, it's a beta. I will reiterate if you're watching this in the future, this is a beta. We've just been given a gift. I mean, Volland playing the pressing forward has pressed the goalkeeper. I think is the best way you can describe that. I want to say stuff like this should never happen, but I remember Karius in the Champions League final. So, it does happen. I would be very annoyed if that had gone against us. Since it's gone our way, I'm not going to complain. Volland with the goal. Almiron with an injury. I talked about the fact we've not had injuries. A lower leg injury. Fortunately, of course, we do have Havertz to kind of slot in immediately, but that is not ideal. Almiron, a player who I was really hoping would get a good run out in this team. He's kind of been rotated in and out to start his time at the club, signed, of course, for £7 million. Let's hope that injury isn't too serious, especially given the fact that Almiron was really signed to be an option at centre attacking mid, and if he's injured, we are going to be lacking at a little bit in that area. Of course, we've got Kai Havertz. Julian Brandt can also slot into that position, but besides that, the centre attacking mid position, certainly not a position like right back where I feel confident in the strength and depth that we have. Anyway, half time, I'm going to tell the players I'm not happy with the performance. You know, despite the fact we're 1 goal up, it's been gifted to us. But hopefully the players can turn it around in the second half. You can see here we've had significantly more possession. Dortmund only the 1 shot on target, so we are shutting them down pretty well and limiting their opportunities. Hopefully we can just keep that going in the second half. Get a few more goals would be nice. So Rangi's here, cutting inside, pulls it back to Lars Bender, hits the woodwork, and well, the keeper collects it there. A good opportunity. Bender, not necessarily the play you'd expect to be finding the back of the net, but he had a pretty good effort there, to be fair to him. The woodwork coming to the rescue. "55 minutes gone, and we do continue our dominance. We continue to have this kind of real stranglehold on the game, you'd have to say. Dortmund struggling to create anything, which is great to see. 20 minutes left, they've had only 1 shot on target. I'm going to make some changes here. I'm going to bring in Alario. I'm going to change him as well to an advanced forward rather than a pressing forward. Elsewhere in the team, you can see here, Leon Bailey, not at the greatest game, neither has Julian Brandt. I have 1 sub left. I'm actually going to hold on to it for now, but We're going to bring in Alario and see what he can do for us. Of course, scored a hat-trick last game, so might feel a little hard done by not to be starting this game. Whilst Volland did get a goal for us, it was, well, a difficult one to miss, might be the fairest way to phrase it. And, well, what a tackle that is. Can we get some pressure high up the pitch here? Alario trying to make them rush it. This time the keeper does distribute it a little better than previously. But, well, Dortmund, you can see here they're really struggling to find an out ball. If we just pause here, so many of their players are so deep, they've not really got anyone in this pocket of space that doesn't really exist anyway because we've got Lars Bender covering it. But without that centre attack in mid, their kind of striker is getting very, very isolated, which is kind of nice to see. You can see again here, they're having to go very direct because there isn't really anyone to link up the play. Both their centre mids not finding themselves too high up the field. Anyway, we're going to hit them on the break here. Leon Bailey, what a run this is. Uses his pace, hits it. I mean, it would have been incredible if it had gone in. Ultimately, it goes narrowly wide, but not a bad effort at all by the Jamaican. And, well, 6 minutes left. Well, 6 minutes. I'm guessing there's going to be 3 minutes of added time because that's the standard amount. I mean, Leon. We might need to tone down the long shots, my friend. We might need to have a word with him about that because that is a little wasteful from him. Maybe we could change his player instruction to shoot less from range. I say that. He scored against Bayern from outside the box, so maybe I don't want to tell him that. Either way, we've gifted them possession here. And, well, Dortmund, with lots of men coming forward here. Pulisic, ball clean through. They've got so many options. And Jadon Sancho with the goal completely against the run of play. Perhaps stupid of me not to go slightly more defensive. But ultimately, with their first real breakthrough of the game, they just find themselves in a world of space. You can see here, we hold our shape okay. This tackle by Sven is just crucial in this. It means that Tar has to come over. And, well, you can see Jedvaj is already out of position because he's gone up for the ball that we'd previously given away. And ultimately, it's an easy goal for Dortmund to score. I mean, a real sucker punch. Surely not another. Surely not another. Julian Brandt, get it away, my son. 2.5 minutes left. We deserve to win this game, but the way things are playing out with Dortmund having the ball here, I'm scared that we might come away with nothing. Now can we break away? Julian Brandt, Kai Havertz tries to get it to Alario. A really, really poor pass by Kai. Need to see better from him there. And you can see here, Dortmund knocking the ball around really nicely here. Tired legs perhaps in our team. We've been pressing for a long period this game, but we do win it back. Julian spreads the play out to Leon. Goes to Aranguiz off the back of Kai Havertz, who doesn't really know what's going on. Brand gets hacked down. That is an awful foul. We have VAR! I mean, this is exciting, isn't it? What is VAR going to say? Was it a red card? What I mean, the tension. I feel like you need a theme tune when you do this. You know, a bit like Countdown. I'm trying to think, you know, like tense TV show, quiz show music. That's what we need right now. What's been given? It's not a red. Well, that's underwhelming. And then, what? Surely you wait for the ball to go out of play before you do VAR instead of everyone freezing on the spot. Again, it's a beta. It's the first year that VAR has been in Football Manager. It's not going to be flawless. It's not flawless in real life, but that was a little strange, I feel like. But it is what it is. Of course, we are about a week away from the full game being out. I'm sure that stuff like that is going to be polished out the game. VAR, just a weird thing to try and implement the first year in FM. But was a little bit bizarre to see, I'm not going to lie. 10 seconds left here. This is going to finish in a 1-1 draw. I mean, if we lose this now, I've jinxed it horrifically, but I think that is going to be all she wrote here. It feels like 2 points dropped rather than a point gained, given how that game has played out. We were dominant for so long in that game. The sucker punch at the end. A goal on the counter-attack. I don't know, just a little disappointing. We weren't good enough today. That is a game that we need to win, and we haven't won it. Despite it, we do go top of the league, which is nice, I guess. You can see here, Dortmund, they're 5 points off the pace, so they're struggling a little bit, but it does mean that we only now have a 1-point lead over Bayern. In terms of when we'll be back, we've got a few games coming up here. You can see we've got PSV immediately. I'm probably not going to do that one. I think we might come back for the game against Hoffenheim. For those of you new to watching my series, I usually, give it about a month. A few more games than we have been giving it between episodes, but just because of the fixtures that we've had, it's kind of been, I feel like, important games to cover. But yeah, I think next episode we'll come back for the game against Hoffenheim. They're in third place, so they are going pretty strong away from Oh, in fact, no, it is at home, so I expect us to give them a good run for their money here, but given how we performed against Dortmund, we certainly can't take anything for granted. Anyway, guys, that is going to be all from me today. Hopefully you have enjoyed today's episode. If you had, please do leave a like on the video. If you've got any comments with regards to the series, leave them down below. And other than that, it is me, Jack, and I will talk to you guys in a bit. I'm out.